Welcome to episode 7 of Robbie's Roundup.
Thank you for joining us here at Robbie Dolly Realty, a quick look into the Vancouver real estate market. Hi, I'm Robbie the Realtor, and it's my mission to empower buyers and sellers by arming them with knowledge. Every Friday, I round up any new listings in Vancouver for under $650,000, and at the end of each episode, I'll share my secret buyer tip of the day. From June 25th to July 1st, there were 63 listings that hit the market for under $650K. Of those, 26 included parking, in-suite laundry, a balcony, and freehold ownership. In last week's episode, I said I would talk a bit about leaky condos and what that means to buyers. Here in Canada, the federal government changed the building codes in the early 1980s to increase energy efficiency of the buildings in response to the energy crisis in the 70s and 80s. Basically, the federal government mandated that between 1981 and 1999, buildings should have airtight or sealed walls. Traditional building technology in Canada allows for breathable walls where water can drain out if it gets inside the walls. Vancouver and the south coast of BC are in a temperate rainforest with a lot of wind-blown rain. The structural designs were based on an average rainfall of around 400 millimeters versus the rainfall that we typically see of closer to 1,500 millimeters. Typically with the leaky condo crisis, we're looking at buildings built between 1981 until around 1998. And the reason for those years is a mix of different issues, such as code issues, building construction, its architecture method, and it's really a perfect storm that lasted for about 16, 17 years. And by the time they finally figured out what was going on, a lot of the buildings were experiencing problems. So we've got this huge span, 1981 all the way to 1998. Rainscreening versus face-sealed systems. Rainscreening became a requirement in Vancouver in 1996. All buildings in 2006 for coastal areas in the remainder of BC. Therefore, this leaky condo issue can also be found in buildings as new as 2006. A rain screen system is made up of 3 protective layers: a water-resistant liner installed on the outside of the home sheeting, an air gap, and a tough exterior surface which combats mechanical damage and offers primary water control. The most simple part of these layers, the air gap, is surprisingly the real science behind how a rain screen works. Vancouver not only experiences rain, but the wind that comes with it. When this wind pushes against the outside of the building, the lower pressure found inside that building will want to suck in exterior water. When there is a proper air gap in a rain screen system, it will act as a neutral pressure gap between the exterior and interior of the home. Water that does manage to enter into the gap due to wind will lose its momentum, fall to the bottom, and safely leave the building without causing damage. The gap in the rain screen also encourages circulation, which aids in keeping building materials dry. A face-sealed exterior system, put simply, is a building with siding that is watertight and sealed top to bottom. Face-sealed systems should have no joints that water may be able to penetrate. To prevent further leaky condo problems, face-sealed buildings must be diligently maintained with painting, caulking, and weatherproofing. How do you know if your building is rain screened? To spot if a building is properly rain screened, you must be able to identify building materials and how they were installed. A proper home inspection will tell you if you're going to have any problems due to improper rain screening. A few things a home inspector may look for include the following: proper drainage holes at the base of a brick veneer as well as under the roof overhang or flashing. Cement board is nailed in only a horizontal direction on vertical wood strips to create a proper air gap. Flashing at the top and bottom of stucco to create ventilation for the air gap. Buildings over 2 stories have uniform horizontal lines separating each story into their own zones. A proper home inspection will identify if a building is rain screened or face sealed, and also caution a buyer of the diligent maintenance required of a face sealed building to prevent water damage. A home inspector will also make sure that proper materials were used and installed professionally, as well as inform a buyer of any upcoming repairs that will be needed. Always have a home inspection completed before you buy a house, townhome, or condo. If you do not know a home inspector, your realtor can recommend several. In BC alone, an estimated $4 billion in damage has occurred to over 900 buildings and 31,000 individual housing units built between the late 80s and early 2000s, establishing as the most extensive and most costly reconstruction of housing stock in Canadian history. Similar infiltration problems have been reported in high-rise buildings and schools, as well as in other climatic zones in Ontario, Nova Scotia, the United States, and New Zealand. My buyer tip are 5 ways to spot leaky condos. 1, it was built between 1981 and 1999. 2, the exterior of the building is stucco. 3, the building lacks expansion joints with flashings. 4, the building lacks overhangs above windows and doors. And 5, the building has little or no drainage on rooftop decks and balconies. If you have any questions about this topic, I'm always happy to chat with you. Thank you for joining us at Robbie Dolly Realty. Please subscribe to my channel to stay informed, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.